Hey, everybody! That was very aggressive. What's going on? It is the Halfy Hour. My name is Dan Rubenstein. That is Matt Ufford to my left.
Hello.
But more importantly, and most importantly, to my right and your left, New York City basketball legend. Is that a fair? Would you be okay with that description?
Yeah, I hear it a lot. I'm from
You
here.
hear it a lot, so it's not you
Yeah.
saying it. You're just
Yeah.
agreeing. Kenny Anderson.
I'm here, man. New York.
New York.
I love being here. I love being here. Every time I come back home, see all my friends, family.
Right.
A lot of memories here. A lot of memories.
Absolutely. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
How's life?
Not bad. Not bad.
Where are you living now?
I'm in Florida, Pembroke Pines, Florida.
So you've been all over the place.
Yeah, I have. No, I've been steady, as far as living.
I'm talking the span of your
life.
life,
My life. Oh, man. When I talk.
Back it up. Yeah.
Back it up.
Yeah, when I talk to the young kids I mentor and basketball camps, clinics, and everything, basketball has done that for me. Opened so many doors for me, traveled all over the world, met so many different people, so been everywhere.
Nice. Is there any place that specifically, if you were telling yourself when you were 15 years old that you'd be living here, it would just shock you?
Wow. When I was I did a little 6-month thing over in Lithuania.
Okay.
Kaunas.
Yeah.
The village of Kaunas. And what's that movie? Dragons. Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Red Dragon.
Red Dragon.
Yeah.
That one of the scenes was in Kaunas village, and I was like, wow, I was over there. That's where I lived at.
On the
It was
Wikipedia
crazy.
page, it says Kenny Anderson and dragons. And Red Dragon. Yeah, that's what it's known for. Okay, so you've lived everywhere. You played for a number of teams in the
Yes.
NBA. You go to Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
But let's start, if it's okay with you, Matt.
Oh.
Yeah, let's start with high school, New York.
Oh, that's where it all started.
That's where it all started.
Right, through the Midtown Tunnel, you could take all the 59th Street Bridge, right to Queens. Left Rack City. My school is located in Briarwood.
Okay.
Archbishop Malloy High School. Excellence, not only basketball, but academically. And,
Sure.
My heart was heavy last week. I lost my mentor, my favorite coach in the whole wide world, Jack Curran.
Okay.
He passed away. It was tough, but he lived a beautiful life. He was at one school for about 50 years, and everybody's gonna miss him. We had great players such as Kenny Smith, Kevin Joyce, Brian Winters, Robert Rodin, Ralph James. So go on. So it was a great. I had a great 4 years at Malloy, and I was fortunate to play varsity.
Right.
Only 4 years, only 4-year player at Malloy
ridiculous.
in the history. So.
You, of course, played at Georgia Tech. We talked a little bit before the show about college selection process.
Yeah.
Came down to Georgia Tech and Syracuse for you.
Yeah.
And I like that weather played a key part in your decision to go to Georgia Tech.
Yeah, it did. It's kind of strange, but I went on my visit to Syracuse. We actually was in a blizzard. It was a snowstorm. It was freezing, but Derek Coleman was great. And I could have had the chance to play with him, but I got the chance to play with him in New Jersey.
This is true.
So it all worked out. But, I went to Georgia Tech on the opposite end. It was 81 degrees, sunny. It was just beautiful campus.
Great academics.
Great academics. Syracuse is great also.
Yes.
Communications, most of the anchors, work for ESPN, graduated from Syracuse.
Bob Costas.
Bob Costas, he's a good guy. But I wasn't going to go wrong, whatever the choice I made out of Syracuse and Georgia Tech.
No, I'd say you probably had enough basketball talent to make it into the NBA, no matter where you went.
Yeah.
This is true.
I got to say, I ended up going to school in Chicago, and I went on this beautiful spring day in April.
Totally misleading.
And yeah, if I had played that a different way, it might have made a very different decision about
You'd
college.
be at San Diego State.
I should have.
Hey, I heard that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody gets work done.
Yeah.
It's sunny. I mean, it's sunny. You're on the beach. Fish tacos, which is not a code word for anything.
No.
It's just delicious food everywhere. It's ridiculous.
Certain schools, I wonder too. I wonder how UNLV, how you get it. We lost to them in the Final Four. So how you even? I don't know. How's a school in Vegas?
I would imagine distracting.
That would destroy me. I would have ended up dead in a gutter by age 19.
I was 2 weeks into school.
Yeah.
Easy. All right, so you're at Georgia Tech.
Yes.
You have the tournament runs. You're there 2 years?
2 years. Sophomore year, I played freshman. We went to the Final Four, 1990.
So what stands out to you about your college experience? Of course, now you have guys that are only there for a single year. The top guys like you were when you were coming out of high school, but you were there 2 years. Do you wish you had stayed longer? Are you glad you capitalized when you did? Did you have a good time playing college or like in the college life experience?
Mine was unique because I didn't really want to leave school my sophomore year. I wanted to leave my junior year.
Right.
You know, first of all, I was having, so much fun, and it was the greatest time of my life, those 2 years at Georgia Tech. But, as far as the draft setup, it was going to be big man draft the year after. So I had to escape those big guys. I think Alonzo Mourning, Shaq. So I wanted to stay 1, 2, or 3.
Right.
So my coach had told me I had to leave my sophomore year. But 2 years at Malloy, 4 years at Malloy and 2 years at Georgia Tech was the best time of my life playing basketball. But, all the relationships you meet and the hoopla of college basketball, the student body, living on a campus, it's just it's a great experience. And I think most kids should experience that.
Bobby Krebins told you had to go? Is that who told you had to go after a sophomore year?
He did his research, and he was like, hey, you could take care of your family. You're going to go 1, 2, or 3.
So he was looking out for you. He wasn't looking out for the team necessarily.
Yeah, but we had like an argument like 48 hours before, and
really,
we was like, he kept calling me. I kept hanging up. I was like, yo, I'm not even talking to you no more. I don't want to go. I'm staying in school. I'm not messing around. You fear what you don't know.
It's almost flipped.
I was fine, man. I was fine with my life the way it was for another year.
Nice.
You know what I mean? But he forced me, not forced me out, but he was just like, come on, man, you got to go. And that's why my media day when I announced was very emotional for me at Georgia Tech when I left.
You weren't completely sold.
No, I really wasn't. And
wow.
I just, I knew I had to go as far as to take care of my mom.
That really runs counter to what we've come to expect as basketball fans, because it's the one and done. That's kind of become the big thing for ever since LeBron and everybody made the jump from high school to the NBA.
Yeah, a lot of them kids just don't want to go to school. It's not school, not for everybody.
Right.
But instead of playing, to stay eligible and to learn, they don't want to learn. They just, putting everything in one basket. I just want to be a basketball player. So that's mainly, I think if kids had some type of motivation to do schoolwork and to be educated, besides play basketball, they will go to college. But and then you get in the inner city kids that get these scholarships that don't have no money to take care of their family, and they feel that the NBA and sports or whatever have you going, give them the money so they can take care of their family. So it's definitely a catch-22 situation. But in most cases, some of these guys need to just stay in school because they're not in desperate need like that. The school's going. Bottom line, these schools are cheating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bottom line, the schools that's getting caught. But, they're going to have to form something where college basketball, college sports, the players will get paid, a stipend or something. Because if not, people's going to cheat. Because these kids got to get taken care of.
Well, how much did you see of, people, that's sort of the shadier side of recruiting in the college basketball world? How much were you aware of what went on and what schools tried to do to convince kids?
I was very aware. I was the number one recruit, coming out of school, and there was some things out there for me that I could have easily taken, but I just said, hey, I'm not just gonna go, that route.
Right.
I'm gonna go, to school, and I was fortunate. I had, a family friend who was well off that took care of me. So it wasn't connected to Georgia Tech. It wasn't connected to no other school. So it was just, so I didn't even want for nothing. But some of these kids don't have a choice, man. They don't have much. And these street agents and people coming up to them say, hey, we could take care of this, we could take care of that. What are you going to do? Say no to it?
Right.
So,
I wouldn't.
yeah.
I was poor as crap as a college student.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then again, we can't get a job.
Yeah.
Like you playing basketball and going to school, you can't get a job.
No.
So
There's no time.
It's really it's difficult.
All right, so you're at Georgia Tech. What do you remember specifically about your experience in the NCAA tournaments?
I just remembered, and I was just talking about this. My run was, for me was, unbelievable. I just think when it started, like everything I did, every ball I shot went in, every pass I made was on point. It really was. We was in the Southeast Regional, and I made outstanding play in that regional. I just couldn't do no wrong. It just was one of those things. Everything I touched, turned to gold. During that March, it was incredible. And we was the 4th seed. Mm-hmm. We won the ACC. championship, and we went on and went to the Final Four. But it was just remarkable.
Do you go for it?
Who in this tournament has got you excited?
This year in college basketball all over, it's a lot of parity. Most of all the number ones are gone. I think they got Kansas left and Louisville.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, I was rolling with UM was a 2 seed because of Jim Larrañaga is a Malloy guy.
I had them as a Final Four team.
So I wanted him to win, but now I'm going with Louisville because I got much respect for Rick Pitino. He coached me in the NBA with the Celtics.
Right.
He brought me to Boston. And Rick the Ruler, as I always call him, that was my guy, Rick the Ruler. And then Russ Smith is a player for Louisville, and he's
Ridiculous.
a Malloy guy.
Yeah.
So I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him now. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be Kansas and Louisville are great, but you just don't know. Florida Gulf Coast come from nowhere, 15 seed.
They're fun.
Playing in the Sweet 16.
What if you had a chance to visit them? They're literally right on the beach.
It's real.
You could have been an Eagle.
It's real interesting because my wife, that's which part of town she's from.
Nice.
Panama City, Florida, in that area. So, I wouldn't have went there.
No, I can't imagine you would have actually gone there.
Also did not have a basketball team.
That didn't exist.
They didn't exist. Only 2 years. Been
Right.
in the NCAA, so it's a great accomplishment.
Right. Okay, so obviously you've gotten into coaching. You want to continue to get more into coaching.
Mm-hmm.
When you watch these games, are you able to watch as strictly a fan or a player who's been there, or do you start looking at it through the eyes of somebody who wants to help run a team?
Yeah, I do both. It's interesting. I do the timeouts. I see what type of plays certain coaches are running after timeouts. I put myself in the coach's seat and be like, what play would I run to get this guy open, to get him a shot? So,
right.
And then I also want to watch the game and enjoy it. So, I'm always thinking about the game. I'm a high school coach now, Posnack's Rams down in Davie, Florida. I love my Posnack family, Jewish day school. I love them, man. I love them. But
Stand up.
Yeah, Posnack Rams, baby.
All right, so the interesting thing to the NCAA tournament, or about the NCAA tournament, is the different styles that different teams play. You talk about Louisville; they're pressing. They play the best defense of anybody in the tournament, anybody in college basketball. You have teams like Wisconsin who play a little bit slower. You have Syracuse, we saw last night. They play the 2-3 zone. First of all, the 2-3 zone.
Why?
Me personally, I'm not a big fan, but Jim Boeheim, Syracuse, big time program. But what they do have is great athletes.
Yes,
makes
it easy.
Long athletes, the length, and it gives a lot of people quick. They gave Indiana, they close out very well, they rotate very well, and it gave Indiana so many problems. Indiana had to beat them in transition, and they wasn't doing that last night. That's why they lost the game. But Syracuse with the zone, I always used to think, after playing college ball, even my high school team now, zone, players get lazy because you play in an area.
Right.
And you're not focused. When you play man-to-man, you're involved in the game. So, and then when you get to the NBA, it's all man-to-man. So you think the kids is not going to be developed and improved. But it seems like Syracuse finds a way, and most of the athletes go on and get drafted and be pretty good players. So Syracuse is awesome with that zone.
So when you watch these games and you're in the back of your mind thinking about it as a coach, what type of system would you run if you were given the type of athletes that are at a top school like this? Are you pressing? Are you full court all game? What stands out to you system-wise?
See, system, I'm not going to have a system. I'm going to look at my roster, see what type of talent I have, and then I'm going to play within my frame, my team frame. If I have a great point guard and a great big man, then I'm going to use the two. And I learned that somewhat through Chuck Daly. Rest in peace. He's with me in New Jersey. He had the great Pistons teams when he had Isaiah, Joe Dumas, Vinnie Johnson coming off the bench. He used his perimeter. To be successful. And then we had Derek Coleman. It was me and Derek Coleman in the pick and roll with Drazen coming off screens. So it's different. You got to adapt to the talent you have around you so your team will be successful.
That makes sense.
Do you buy into? Do you pay attention to the new metrics where basically all your shots should be either layups or dunks or like corner threes, like the most kind of the new movement?
They've gotten nerdy with stats.
Yeah,
it's essentially
PER.
Well, first of all, the corner 3-pointer is real close. Mm-hmm. So if you can get to it, I think a 3-pointer should be opportunist. You gotta, shoot the three and transition if it's there. The right shooters have to shoot that. I think a lot of teams live and die with the 3-point shot. That's not good. Also, it depends on what type of team. You can go inside, outside, and it works better for you. You get closeouts, then you can get in the middle, get in the lane,
right,
and get guys, open layups and open shots. And I always say with these young guys, these young kids getting outrageous. They can't shoot jumpers, period, and trying to shoot from three. So perfect your mid-range game first, and then worry about the 3-point shot.
All right.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because all I have is a mid-range game. I don't have the slashing ability.
No.
I don't have distance. But I hit a 15-footer like you would not believe. Just smooth. So let's go back to your NBA time. Is there a player that you played with that you feel like maybe didn't get the credit he deserves as being particularly great and just had, injuries or, something derailed him, was particularly heady, really smart on the court that you feel like didn't necessarily get the attention that he should have?
Wow. No, I think NBA, most people get a lot of credit if they're doing a good job, if they putting forth if they put numbers up.
Right.
And I really come to mind. I played with some great pros. I had the fortune. I played with 9 different teams, but both years was 5 years with the Celtics, 5 years with New Jersey, and played with Derek Coleman, Drazen Petrovic. Then I played with Paul Pierce, who's ongoing, still Celtic.
He's been in Boston for 33 years now.
Yeah, right. See, that's when I look at him because he came in when he was a rookie. When I came in '97, he was a rookie. So
and now he has a long gray beard.
Yeah, and then Antoine Walker. I had the fortunate. I played a year with Reggie Miller. I played a half a year with Larry Johnson and Glenn Rice. So I've been able to play with some great pros, and I was just blessed to play 14 years in the NBA.
So you played the point. Who is the shooting guard or small forward that it was the surest thing? You're passing the ball, you immediately feel like the assist is yours.
Wow.
Because you mentioned Drazen Petrovic and you mentioned Reggie Miller.
And Dennis Scott.
Yeah.
Those three is up there. That's it right there. But in college, my dude was, 3D, Dennis Scott, man.
Of course.
When I passed the ball to him, it was going in. I start backpedaling.
Let me ask you a question, because I get mad sometimes when I see a point guard make a brilliant pass and the guy he passes to misses the layup or the open jumper, and I was just robbed him of an assist. Do you ever feel that way as a point guard?
I did. You know what? It's a good
question. My assist.
I did that when I was younger, and my mentor, my coach, you don't play like that. I was miserable. I would flip out. I was a bad teammate, and I learned how to lead. That's my coach, Jack Curran. My high school coach, and Vince Smith said, you don't do that. You did your job. You got to let him, if he misses the shot, hey, you made it happen for him. But I would really get upset at my teammates, and that wasn't the way to go, especially being a point guard and a leader.
Right.
So that got out of me quick.
Now you're watching the NBA now, of course, Miami, by far the best team. Oklahoma City on the other side looks just as invincible, at least in the West.
I think the Spurs look better than
Spurs,
the Thunder.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
So Miami aside, and maybe even Oklahoma and San Antonio aside, who is standing out to you, maybe peaking at the right time? Which team are you buying stock in right now?
Well, I like Memphis, but they traded Rudy Gay, but I don't know if that might hurt them. They still hold and serve, but I don't know if it might hurt them in the playoffs. I like Memphis. I like the Clippers. They deep, with they're going to be
coming off the bench.
They're going to be a scary team in the playoff, but the game slows up. And I know Chris Paul is the man and he's having a great year, but you need that inside presence,
right?
To when the game slow up. And I don't know if Blake Griffin is there, but I don't know their team some of those guys haven't been in those type of situations,
right,
on that type of stage. So it still need to be answered. So, Clippers is there, Spurs, Thunder, some of the top 4 teams in the West. So you just never know. But everything got to come through the heat. Everything goes through the heat.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you've got like you said, the 4 teams at the top of in the West, and then in the East, it's just.
But, my surprising, and I don't know if they're going to do it, but Denver Nuggets, they're awesome. They're very athletic.
Ty Lawson is ridiculous.
He's
Andre Miller too.
Andre Miller.
They got a good backcourt, but then in the playoffs, they saying you need that one star. They don't have a star. They have a bunch of good players. So that's what's going to be interesting with Denver. But they can beat anybody in a series. It'll be tough. But the way they run and gun, but I don't know if they can do that in the playoffs. It slows down.
So Iguodala isn't that guy for you?
He's very good.
Yeah.
He does it
but
all.
not a
Everybody.
superstar.
But
right.
I think he's a running mate for a
Right.
superstar.
Right. He's
ain't
a great
nothing wrong
number
with
two.
that. Yes,
Right.
ain't nothing wrong with that.
I was listening to our good friends at the Basketball Jones the other week, and they were talking about how like it gets in the playoffs, the game slows down. Are they going to be throwing that lob to Iguodala like at the end of the game? You know, like when you need to make that
Playoffs?
shot. Yeah.
They're gonna. You know, you can critique, and it's about It's about making adjustments. The playoffs are serious. Now you playing one team, best out of 7. So from game to game, you know they're gonna take away your strong points, and that's what happened. You said Courtside Jones. That's a great show. My man Talani, is one of the directors for that show.
Nice. Oh,
okay.
And I was on there, so it was good. So that's a big time shout out.
Nice.
Courtside Jones.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up with this because it is a weekly show. We do the best of the week, and we've talked to the tournament. First, do you have a tournament pick now to win it all?
Louisville.
Go
Louisville. I'm going
okay.
Louisville.
All right. So we do the best of the week. So what was the best thing you saw on TV this week? Could be basketball.
Doesn't
could
have
be
to be
anything.
TV. It could be a movie. It could be something you saw in New York City that you liked. Just what pleased your eyes this week. And if you want us to circle back, we can come back to you too.
Man, you know what? I see so many things, in the course of a day, but
What do you look forward to most on your DVR?
I'm addicted to ID channel, Dateline.
Unexpected.
My man, Lester Holt. That's my guy. I like his voice.
Into the investigations.
In the investigation. I'm really serious about that. I just sit there and I watch all the shows. I can tell you about all of them. Murder mysteries, how they catch a guy after 20, 30 years. Serial killers, how they catch them. So I'm really addicted to ID channel. I'm waiting for the new ones.
Are they the ones that have the first 48? What channel has that?
First 48 I watch sometime, but that ID channel, Discovery Channel, all those Snap, Snap. That's when that's for the women shows when the woman just snaps. You know what I'm saying? So
that's you just have to be prepared. That's a good way to prepare yourself.
Yeah.
If there's a female
I'm
that
kind of
snaps.
simple and boring, man. But this week was bad for me. So
were you traveling a lot this week?
Well, I lost my high school coach, and I came back to New York,
right.
and I was a pallbearer for him, and it was.
He's coming from a funeral, like we're like, hey, what TV did you watch?
Yeah.
So that was. I usually great coming from my old school, so I would have to say that
There you
when I come to New York, I always visit Archbishop Malloy and my favorite math teacher, Miss Longerano. That was my favorite. She made me work, And
Was that your favorite subject in school?
Math. She got me work. I got an 86 on my math Regents exam.
All right.
86.
Nice. What do you always when you
know
come?
how hard I had to work for that 86?
I don't think I'm 86
This
worthy.
was like 100 to me, man. I had to work hard for that.
That's ridiculous. What do you when you come back to New York? What food do you always have to have?
Oh man, I'm gonna get there probably tomorrow. Quality Meats. I'm a steak guy.
Oh.
Okay.
6th Avenue. It's
All
one of
right.
my best. It's like my favorite steak place.
Go hungry.
Steak. I'm steak.
Which cut?
Ribeye, medium well.
Medium well.
Medium
Medium
well.
well. I'm a medium well guy.
All right. Interesting.
Wow.
What do you go with on the side?
Potatoes, baked potato.
Meat and potato.
Yeah, I'm that corn, macaroni and cheese.
I'm getting real hungry.
Yeah, me too.
Broccoli.
I'm starving now.
Oh, that sounds really
You
good.
gotta shout out to Thuzio.
Thuzio. So you're working with Thuzio.
Thuzio, yeah.
What have you been doing for them?
Oh well, it's a no-brainer. Thuzio.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for people who aren't
Yeah.
familiar, what is Thuzio?
Thuzio, the fan, the exciting fan that wants to know what is my favorite athlete is doing.
Yep.
Where is he? If you love Kenny Anderson, you can go on Thuzio.com and you could I could go out to eat with you. I could come do a clinic with you, a basketball clinic.
Medium well steak.
I could go on
Would you
speaking engagement.
Would you play
whatever.
laser tag with me and Dan?
Yeah, reach out to Thuzio, and man,
Bringing
we can
people
set
together.
that up. It's bringing your ex athlete who you love back together. You know what I mean? Where you can maybe get a night out with them or come and speak at one of your events you're doing. So it's great. It's a no-brainer for a lot of these, especially old athletes. Let me change that. Retired athletes.
Retired athletes.
Retired athletes
Young.
Still young. That's trying to, they just call us and they set up the appearances, and it's a great thing. But enthusiastic fans, where y'all at? Kenny Anderson is out. Get on there, Thuzio.com. Let's make it happen.
I love it. And I want to play laser tag now.
You
got that.
You could do it with me. I'll
Laser,
play
laser tag
with you.
and steak. Let's do
Laser
it.
tag and steak. Sounds like a wonderful
My
day.
gosh.
All right.
that up.
Well, his name is Kenny Anderson. Follow him on Twitter. What's the Instagram?
My Chibs. Follow me on Twitter, Chibs, CHIBBS_1. And Instagram, Kenny12Anderson.
Stay familiar with pictures of him with tints.
Before we close, I want to know what's your Instagram style? Like, what are you taking pictures of?
I take pictures.
You take pictures of your food?
I'm on myself, man. My wife say I'm too much on myself, so I'm just taking pictures of myself.
All right.
That's all. Like, I don't know. I guess all my high school pictures. Sometime I bring out college, pro. I'm just
That's
about
what I would
myself.
do.
I'm
I
just
like that.
about myself.
If I were one of the greatest New York City high school basketball players, one of the legends, top 75,
Yeah, they
Georgia
gave me.
Tech.
Yeah, they gave me the 70 out of 75 anniversary NCAA.
Right.
They picked me 49th, but since I'm on your show and y'all think I'm cool, I should be lower, right?
Lower?
49th.
Like up closer to 1?
No, yeah, down, yeah.
I feel good about that.
Sure. Yeah.
ACC, degree of difficulty, high.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel real good about
Who's
that.
have you taken a look at who's right in front of you? Who's 48? Who's 47?
You know what? I really don't know. I've been joking. I'm taking 49 and running with it, and so
Jimmer
Fredette. It's a great, it's a great honor. And remember, I did 2 years.
Yes.
I know
Sure,
the best
sure.
is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bill Walton. They played 4 years in a row, and Kareem is number 1. 4 years in college, 4 championships.
Yes.
Like he dominated college basketball. So
To be
that's
fair,
great.
nobody else was playing basketball at the time. It was just Kareem and like
Kareem
6 other guys.
dominating. Yeah.
Before we go, I want to just shout out my wife's girlfriend. She has a clothing line, a T-shirt line.
Oh.
Hop. That's hop. Hard on politics.
Yeah, we were wondering
Hard
about
on
this.
politics.
Yes.
And this is the act of being hard on the politics. There's no hyphens anywhere.
No
Correct.
hyphens or commas.
Comments.
Yeah.
But
Those will
cool
ruin
T-shirts.
the title.
She's gonna drop you some T-shirts off.
Oh,
to the-
fantastic.
to
Perfect.
the
So we've
studio.
got
So
Thuzio,
Thuzio,
Hop. Instagram, Twitter.
man,
Where can't you find Kenny Anderson? A treasure.
Not Florida.
Florida.
Not at the moment.
Yeah.
You can catch me on South Beach every other weekend sometimes.
And your team, once again, you are the coach of which school?
Posnick Rams.
Posnick Rams.
Davie, Florida. Follow the Rams. Follow the,
I'm a Rams fan now.
follow, baby.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Be sure to download. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to follow Kenny on all of his digital interests and support everything that Kenny supports. Thank you very much, Matt.
Thank you, Dan. And you got everybody out there have a great weekend. Enjoy basketball. There's fantastic basketball. Tonight is Florida Gulf Coast.
Oregon, Louisville. I'm a
That's
duck.
what-
Go
yeah.
Oregon,
Oh,
actually.
you are?
I'm a duck.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We have nice uniforms.
Yo, Phil Knight, baby.
Yeah, he takes
Nike.
care of us.
Yo, lovely.
Green,
Nike.
yellow, black,
Got some-
white,
got some
chrome.
nice-
Let's make that our last shout out to Phil Knight and Nike.
Phil Knight and Nike.
You may send us
Finally,
free stuff anytime you want.
Air Force Ones, please. That's what I live in. Air
I'll
Force
take-
Ones, Phil. Size 10.
I will take a ride on Air Force
Take
One.
us out, Dan.
All right. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you soon.